Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. And our first one comes from Consistent Detail 83-4. Am I the beehole for refusing to pay my daughter as much as my son am refusing to supplement her check so that they're equal? My two oldest kids are in college and working part-time to earn spending money. They live at home, we pay for their tuition, car insurance, basically everything except spending money. I have my own small construction company and run a crew of about 15 men, including my son. Lately, we've been doing mostly roofing jobs. My son's job is to help take off the old shingles, pick up any shingles that miss the dumpster, and help prep the roof. Once the installation starts, he delivers a steady stream of shingles, nails, and other materials to the nailers. It's a dangerous and hard job. I pay him about $25 an hour. My daughter works as a cashier, but most of the time she's standing at the self-checkout lines and rarely behind the register. She's paid about $15 an hour. Last week, my son bought his girlfriend a new iPhone for Valentine's and was talking about the restaurant he was going to take her to. Since it's an expensive phone and the restaurant, my daughter asked where he's getting the money. That led to how much I'm paying him, and she got mad. He's been working with me for about 4 months, but she's never shown any interest in what we do or asked anything about his job or pay, so it came as a surprise to her. The short version of a week-long argument in our house is that she thinks it's unfair he's making so much more than she is. I offered her the same hourly wage if she wants to join her brother on the roof, but she went once and did not finish out the day. Instead, she wants us to make up the difference between their paychecks. My wife thinks I should come up with an easier job, like letting her pick up the shingles that miss the dumpsters. I said that's an easy job, and I'm not paying her $25 an hour for a minimum wage job. I told her that she can make as much as her brother, but she doesn't want to carry heavy and dirty shingles. Now, both women are giving me the silent treatment. Last night, my wife went so far to eat dinner with our daughter before my son and I got home at 6, and later went to bed without saying a word to me all night. OP, you are not the beehole. Your wife and your daughter are beeholes, I'd say. Your wife is trying to teach your daughter a terrible lesson while you're trying to teach her a good lesson. Doing manual labor like that, construction, roofing, sidewalks, the trade-off for destroying your body is a pretty good pay. And yeah, she went and decided to work a minimum wage job, doing cashiers and stuff like that, and that's what they pay. No, you can't just say, how would that be fair to your son who's out there busting his butt and she just gets to do her little easy peasy job and she gets her money supplemented by doing nothing while he's out there getting, out there, I don't know if he's breaking his body, but you know what I mean? He's putting in the work. And your wife is a grown woman. Why is she acting like a child? Either eating her dinner and all that before you guys come home to like stick it to you guys. What? I could see why your daughter thinks she can just do that, just do nothing and just get her money, supplemented while your son's out there working. And I agree with you. You shouldn't pay her the same amount of money for doing an easier job like picking up the shingles than your son who's doing that plus much, much, much more. And it's not like you're even being unfair. She has the same option to do the same work that your son's doing. And yeah, if she got out there and did the same job, then yeah, she should get the same pay, but she's not. So OP, I would say stick to your guns. And your wife needs to get her crap together because she's going to raise a terrible child who is a narcissist and thinks the world, she's owed everything and doesn't want to put in work to get anything. And the next one comes from Secret Mind 650. Am I the beehole for telling my roommate her boyfriend can't sleep over 5 nights a week? It's pretty straightforward. My roommate's boyfriend is over 5 days a week. I told her he can't be here 5 to 7 days a week because I pay to live with one person, not two. Our place only has one bathroom. She is upset with me and thinks I'm being unreasonable because I have my boyfriend over too. My boyfriend is over 2 nights a week at most on the weekend. Usually it's only once because I work weekends. I feel it's reasonable to ask for a boyfriend to not fully live with us without paying. Edit. He showers here, he cooks here, he uses the living room to watch TV, he keeps his stuff in our bathroom, he also loves to set the thermostat to 74 degrees. Yeah, OP, you are not the beehole, and I can see how that's annoying, having someone that really has nothing to do with you constantly in your zone, your space, using up your stuff, hogging up your bathroom. That's gotta piss you off too if you go to use your bathroom and your roommate's not in there, but her boyfriend's in there. Yeah, OP, try to find a way to make sure he kicks him out, and I think that's fair. Like you said, you have yours over, and yeah, come over once or twice a day, spend the night, whatever, but leave. Like you said, he's not paying. He's just there kind of mooching and leeching, apparently, and basically living with you guys. He basically moved in without your consent, and you only paid to live with your roommate, two people. I took a quick look at down in the comments, and it looks like OP says that some person suggested, hey, have him move in with you guys and pay the rent, pay a portion of the rent. But from what OP's saying, OP thinks that the boyfriend is paying her half of the rent with her so they can, gyp the OP out of money. That's what OP's thinking, and I'm kind of having to agree. Yeah, OP, you need to find a way to nip this in the bud, because this guy's basically leeching off of you, and she's cool with it. Not the beehole, but yeah, you need to set boundaries, find a way to get him out. And our next one comes from Legal Rhubarb 9735. Am I the beehole for going after child support from my ex-wife and her husband even though I said I would not after they said they wanted input on how I'd raise my daughter? My ex-wife, Sandy, and I got married young. Too young. I wasn't done with university and she was fresh out of high school. We were pressured by our families. It's a religious thing. We didn't actually even live together until a year and a half later when I finished my degree. I'm not in the greatest shape. I'm not particularly handsome, although my mom says I am. I also spent a lot of time at work, my first 3 years of my career getting a running start. I'm ashamed to say I pretty much neglected Sandy. When we had our daughter, I re-examined my life and made them a priority. Unfortunately, it was too late. Sandy left me. It hurt. It hurt more when she moved on and left our daughter with me. She said that she was still young and that her family and I had taken away years of her youth away, and now it's her turn to enjoy it. Oh my god, OP, you should not feel bad. This woman just wanted to, run in the streets, basically. I felt a lot of guilt over what she said. For the record, I did not particularly want to be married either. I said I didn't want to hold her back, so I would not take child support. We went to the court, I got full custody, she got visitation, which she only rarely uses. Like 4 times last year. It's been 5 years, and my daughter and I are doing fine. I have a great job now, and I'm able to work from home. I take my daughter to school and pick her up, and I leave my work in my office when we are together. I also have withdrawn from the church and my parents attend. Recently, Sandy's been bugging me about parenting decisions. I told her that I'd raise my daughter as I see fit. She said that she was she was her mother and deserved a say. Her husband chimed in. I would have told him to shut the sorry, and that I was not doing a proper job of parenting and that they were considering going back for court for custody. I'm gonna finish the story, but I get bad juju from him if he's over here trying to get another man's child. I'm just saying. As soon as he mentioned lawyers, I hung up and called mine. She's a bulldog. She immediately filed for child support, including back child support, for the last 5 years. I've been hearing from everyone that I'm being cruel, going after her for money. Full disclosure, I make close to 5 times their combined income. I don't need their money. But if I can use the law to get her to leave us alone, I will. Am I the beehole? Heck no, you are not the beehole, OP. Deadbeat mom, deadbeat dad. Either way, they have no say in raising the child who's been raised by, a legit adult parent who, is trying to help that child in life have a good life. She doesn't just get to pop up with Mr. Creepy Creep, because that's the vibe I'm getting with him over here trying to get some man's little girl. I'm just saying it but not saying it. But that would have crawled my flesh, having this goober that I've never met over here with my deadbeat ex-fiance who failed to be a parent, because she did, over here, oh, we're gonna take your child away because you're doing it wrong. OP, you're more zen than I am, because I'd want to claw his face, the flesh off his face, because no one gets that's some random person coming in. Yeah, I could raise your kid better than you. Come on, give it. We're gonna use the courts. And no, you were not being cruel. All she had to do was stay out of it, and she would have been fine. It's the goober she's with pushing her to do this. To go after the child like that. And yeah, the second he brought up lawyers, you did the right thing. You got your lawyer, who seems like she was born a shark, which is great. That's the type you want. And the way I see it, they were going to use the court against you. You should use it against them. They basically made a threat, and you retaliated, and you answered. And that's a great way to hit them hard, bleeding them out of their money. All she had to do was nothing, and she would have been fine financially. But she's an idiot who got with an idiot. Well, an even bigger idiot from what it sounds like. And you know, you reap what you sow and you get what you get. You get what you frickin' deserve. So OP, not the beehole, and honestly, keep sending them a message. Keep tightening those screws until she stands down and understands that she is not a parent. She has no say in this nonsense. And honestly, I'd go back and make sure to take any kind of visitation away from her, because who knows what happens. She could bring the goober with her, and they could try to pull something on you, OP. So protect yourself, protect your kid, and bleed them dry and turn the screws. OP, you're not the beehole. And our final one comes from LooseBed9786. Am I the beehole for giving my son's college fund to my daughter? My wife and I saved up money for all of the kids to go to college. We saved enough that they can each go to a whichever college they want without getting into any debt. Oh wow, that's really cool. My middle child chose not to go to college. He also chose not to go to trade school or learn any useful skill. I voiced my disappointment about him only going for the simplest jobs, like minimum wage jobs. But it's his life, and at the end, I can only do so much about it. Now my daughter is going to college, and she's planning to become a doctor. I told her that since her brother's college fund is untouched, she could have both, her own and her brother's college fund. Now my middle child is mad at me and demanding I give him his money to him, to do whatever he wants with it. I told him he's free to waste his life, but not to waste my money. That money will go to the person who's actually going to use it for education. I don't want my money to be spent on bears and video games. He thinks I'm a beehole. Hi OP, you are not the beehole. You guys are really great parents, putting money aside and giving your child, a nice ride through college or trade school. I kind of wish I went to college, kind of wish I just went to trade school. Probably would have making a lot more money than I am now. But I agree with you. That is your money. You put that money aside for them to spend on education, which, yeah, college, if he even went to trade school, which it's a lot shorter than college, he would have gotten that money too and probably would have had some left over maybe. Yeah, probably. And your daughter's going to be a doctor. That's a very noble profession, and that's one that adds up really quick. I'm pretty sure doctors are pretty much guaranteed to start in debt, right? And like the first year or two is just digging yourself out of that debt when you're a doctor. I think I might be wrong. But yeah, since he's just going to piss it away, like you said, on beer and games, give it to your daughter. She's going for education, and like I said before, becoming a doctor is not cheap. So I think any little bit helps. And it's not like you're being unfair. If he went into college, a trade school, or anything like that, he would have gotten his money. But he decided, no, I'm not going to, better myself or educate myself. So, OP, you're not the beehole. And I hope your daughter has a smooth ride becoming a doctor and starts out in no debt or little to no debt. Again, OP, not the beehole. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.